I'm Timothy Vigil, and this is Just Another Word, the Word of the Day podcast for storytellers. Episode 39, Precedent. An earlier event or action that is regarded as an example or guide to be considered in subsequent similar circumstances. We've all heard the word precedent, probably as a legal term. The Supreme Court relies on or overrules precedent when they make decisions that shape nations. But precedent is more than just a courtroom concept. It is the invisible architecture of human interaction. It is how we know who to trust, who to fear, and who to lie to. In your writing, precedent is how you establish the weight of history between characters. It's that baseline of a relationship before the first page starts. It is every piece of connection the characters have before the story begins. Think of a friend that you might have, the one who is constantly, inevitably late. I have a couple in mind. But they've set a precedent so ironclad that your entire social group has started to lie to them, telling them the party starts at 6 just to ensure they arrive by 8. The way you treat them is a direct result of the precedent that they have established and that you have established over time in your relationship with them. So when you're writing a group of people, think about this. People who have known each other for years should not be surprised by each other's basic temperaments. If two characters enter your story as best friends, they should have a very good idea of how the other will handle a crisis. We need to focus on the expected reaction. If a character is stoic, the other shouldn't be shocked if they don't cry at a funeral. It shouldn't be a surprise that a character acted in the way they normally act if the other character knows them well. A third character who has just met both of these characters might be shocked by the reaction of the one, but the ones who have been best friends should understand and maybe even be the one explaining to the new character, this is expected. Characters who know each other should also be thinking about precedent and how they communicate. A character who has a past precedent might be using their knowledge to manipulate or protect each other. Small lies used to keep each other going, or small truths used to get what they want from a situation. I'm not saying that you should use the past as creating only these manipulative characters. Manipulation in this case might just be using past knowledge to get a character to do what they need to do. The most powerful moments in a story often happen when there is a break in the pattern. When a character violates their own precedent, either through growth or maybe even through slipping backwards. If that late friend suddenly showed up an hour early, we would immediately sense something might be wrong, or have they really changed? This idea that a character who is afraid might suddenly be brave can show growth, can show change, and can help us not just move the plot forward, but move the character forward as well. The danger of precedent, of two characters who know each other well that your audience doesn't know, is falling into the "as you know, Bob" trap. You might be tempted to use dialogue as a shovel to give us all the backstory, having characters say things like, "This is just like that time when you slipped by the pool in the 7th grade on that school trip. Do you remember that?" Unless they're actively reminiscing, people rarely narrate their own histories so explicitly. To make precedent feel lean and natural, let it live in the subtext. Don't explain that pool incident. Have a character instinctively do something that connects to that. Or say something like, "This is just like that time you slipped," and leave it at that, giving us small pieces of information. But don't let the reader feel like you are trying to force this onto them. Don't have the characters speak in a way that is clearly just for the audience. Make sure that these are two humans talking about their shared history, using the language of their relationship and the language of the precedent they have. A character who is keenly aware of precedent will often speak with a sense of, "Here we go again." They aren't guessing. They're calculating based on available data. A situation with two friends might go something like this. "I'll take the keys," Mike said, snatching them away before Ben could pocket them. "But I want to drive," Ben protested. "That's fine, but I have no interest in standing around in the cold while you try and figure out where you put these." Mike slid the keys into his pocket and patted them firmly. "They'll be much safer right here." In this, the character is using the past as a weapon. Mike is saying, "I am not going to let you have this because I don't want the ramifications I know are going to happen." It's not about being mean. It's about refusing to ignore the patterns of the human in front of them. If it is well known that Ben loses or misplaces things, it is very smart for Mike to do what he needs to do to make sure that doesn't happen. Characters interact in this way in the same way that humans interact in this way. Make sure that precedence is part of your story. It is the tertiary layer. It is the layer of a relationship. It is evidence of a life that was lived before the reader arrived. In your next draft, look at your cast. How does their history dictate their current movements? How does it dictate the way that they are interacting? Build the precedent into their actions, but keep the dialogue natural. And this doesn't just have to be with characters who have known each other for a long time. Establish precedent for characters who have just met. By the end of the book, they should have a connection. They should understand each other. They should speak to each other in a way because of what has happened before. They have learned that this character is impulsive, and so the new character is trying to stop that impulsiveness, thinking through things. Figure out ways to do this. Because trust that if you show the pattern, the reader will start to understand the history. And if you create that history on the page, the reader will be looking for it. I'm Timothy Vigil, and this has been Just Another Word. Happy writing.